Welcome to my family. These are my babies. I'm David Nassim. My brand is Ruby Loves Jack. I shoot weddings, events, commercials, fast. So basically, I try to travel light and keep everything with me that I need. Now, when I set out in wedding photography all those years back, I remember everyone saying to me, primes. Just use primes. The argumentation being super lightweight, easy to get around with. Back then, the technology wasn't quite as strong. And now we have this bad boy. The Sony 50-150 GM f2. That's f2 all the way through. So, is this a prime killer? Is it time to get rid of all those prime lenses? Or is it just a fad? For my commercial work, I'm generally using a Sony A1 Mark II, a Sony A9 Mark III. I use FX30s, FX3s. I'll even use an A6700 if I need to. Now, with the A9 III and the A1 II, what's really important is complete compatibility and a consistent finish when it comes to my images, because I'm shooting maybe 3,000 to 6,000 shots a day. I need them all to be easy editable. Let's talk about the 50-150 f2 GM. It weighs about 1,300 grams. It's 200 millimeters in length. It has a very large filter size. I don't necessarily use these hoods, so I'm going to get rid of that. That's what I would normally carry around with me. Now, I'm shooting on an A1 II and an A9 III. This works stunningly with them. It does not extend, as you can see. I can zoom in and out in a very small movement. I've got my iris lock, I've got the usuals that I find on the GM lenses, I've got the click on and off for the aperture. I put mine on A, generally speaking, I use my camera to control that anyway, and I have my buttons here and here. Yes, it's a very big filter size. It's a 95 millimeter. Wow, it's big. Wouldn't necessarily be putting filters on this anyway, because I don't really shoot that much film. So, is this going to replace all of these lenses? That's the question. Or am I going to sell some? Am I going to keep some? What's the combination I'm going to go for? So other kids on the block, Sony's 50mm f1.4. It's not quite a nifty 50, but this is a beautiful lens with a fabulous bokeh. It's lightweight. It has a 67mm filter. It's my go-to carry around as an alternative to my 35mm. Sony's 85mm G Master 2. It's a 1.4. Also 67mm filter. It's relatively lightweight. It's super fast. I think they call this sticky. Sticky meaning when it locks on, it stays locked on. And of course, Sony's 135mm GM f1.8. This is an iconic lens. It has an incredible bokeh. It's a little heavier, it's a little larger than the others, but in terms of a prime trilogy, this is the final setup. This is the one that I've been using for years for the long reach shots that I've needed to get. It has phenomenal separation and stickiness, absolutely. What do those three lenses have in common? Exactly the same color science. They all look fabulous. They all look fabulous on, when I'm using my A1 Mark II or my A9 Mark III, I get a consistent look out of all of them. There is one other lens that I've been using over the years, and the question today is, am I going to put this one out for sale? The Tamron. It's not Sony. Yes, I do love Sony. But there's nothing wrong when the competitor comes out with something that's really interesting. This is the Tamron 35-150 f2 to 2.8 Di3XVD VXD. Doesn't really matter. It weighs about 1,200 grams, so it's a little heavier than the primes, of course. These are nifty. But it does have a whole bunch of coverage. 35-150, that's pretty much a whole wedding shoot with one lens. Every now and then I'd like to have something super wide like a 20 or even an f14, but this pretty much has covered a lot of stuff over the last year. However, it does have drawbacks. It has an extending barrel, which means for video work it's not really ideal. It is f2 to f2.8, so f2, great. f2.8, not really my thing. If you're okay with it, then fantastic. I'm not. I don't like the fact that it changes all the way through. This lens also doesn't really give me a consistent color finish. I find that combining images from the prime lenses and from the Tamron, there's quite a lot of work to be done. It's just not an OEM lens. So, having said that, price value is great, its weight is great, its reach is great. I still love this lens. So let's have a quick look at these lenses physically together. That's the difference. Not a very scientific way of viewing things, and this is definitely lighter, but also different filter sizes. But the keys here are the fact that this is definitely, in a real world test, stickier than this one. Now, that's only my personal opinion, and of course, I'm sure other people will say, nah. Now, you know, I think it's only fair to say this is a very expensive lens. This is not just a compromise, it's a fairly solid competitor, in my opinion. But I do like good, easy workflow. And a simple workflow means that all my images look the same when they come out, when they go to my editor, or if I'm editing myself, that there's an easier job to do. I find with the Tamron, there's a little bit of a challenge there, whereas with this one, there hasn't been. So, what's my verdict? It's not a simple one. This doesn't kill primes, but it does liberate you of them. Now, options that you're going to have. I think for me, this is definitely going to remove the Tamron from my selection. So this guy, sorry, but you're going to get sold. The 135, probably the most amazing portrait lens ever produced by Sony, in my opinion. However, it's a little redundant here. So I'm going to let this one go as well. I do like the 85mm. One of its great attractions is it's super and it's lightweight. I will have use for this. I will not let this go, but I will sit it to one side for most of my shoots. So I'm just going to slip that over there. The 50mm. Now this is magnificent. It really is beautiful. And for my walk around the wedding, this is probably my go-to lens. This or the 35mm, which I can't show you because I'm shooting on it right now. So I would normally have 30 or a 50 on one side, this big boy on this side. So this I will sit aside for the time being. So effectively, this is replacing all of those primes for me. Now, there's a minor compromise in terms of the f-stop, but these are very, 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 very minimal. In terms of weight, it's one big lens, but it's one big lens. How does this look on a camera? Okay, let's get it the right way around. White dot to white dot. Personally, it looks big, but it's shockingly easy in the hand. I mean, I've got big hands and I know a lot of people use grips, etc., etc. I'm finding with the new Sony grips on the A9 III and the A1 II, I don't need to do that. I've got a nice finger groove here. I've got it held in place here. I am working without the tripod grip. I generally never use hoods. I know flares. You know what? I love flares. All that technology. And then I want to put the flares back in, but that's how it is. I'll often put my hook and it will hang on my moneymaker straps, leather straps on the right hand side. I find this not uncomfortable to carry around with. I have shot a whole day with this, and I've shot many weddings already in the last couple of months with this on one side and a 20, 24 or 35 on the other side, depending on how close I can get up to people. Now, I have a tendency to get quite close to my clients, so when it comes to weddings, I find that for instance, in the civil ceremony, this is a bit too long and I can't get in really close. 50mm is not wide enough for me, but it still does the job of being one of two lenses. So I can literally go to a wedding with two lenses now. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, I'm going to weddings with two lenses, an 85 and a 50, or an 85 and a 35, or a 135 and a 35. I know. I've just got much more flexibility. I'm not switching lenses. It's good to go. I'm sold on it. So in terms of f-stops, obviously 1.4, 1.8, much stronger than a 2, but a 2 is definitely stronger than a 2.8. I've actually used this through the daytime and actually through into the evening. I've been using this with off-camera flash in big events, and I've found it to be absolutely workable. It gives me my nice separation look. So basically, I am sold on it. There are two restrictions for some people, I feel. One is the filter size. It's big, it's a little prohibitive. Big filters are expensive. I don't use filters on my cameras because I'm mostly shooting photography. Secondly, it's a little on the bulky side. Having said that, I've just mentioned this is quite an easy camera to wave around. And thirdly, price. It's fairly pricey, but then if you want to drive a Rolls Royce, you're going to pay Rolls Royce prices. Right, and this might sound a bit like an insider tip, but if you are using lots of Sony equipment, get yourself qualified for the Sony Pro Support team. They will look after you. They are the coolest team ever. Service all my equipment, check and cleans on a regular basis. Just that sense of, everything's well looked after. So there are two things that I will need after today. One is my protein shake, because it's a big lens. No, I'm just kidding. But I will need to hide my credit card bill from my wife. That is a fact. Another lens, another credit card bill. So if you like that review, hit me up, give me some ideas of what you'd like me to review next, or if you've got some comments or anything you disagree with. I mean, at the end of the day, this is just my opinion. For whatever that's worth. Thanks for joining me. Please like and subscribe. I'd love to see you again.